Welcome to this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I am your host, founder, and executive director of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you for joining us and thank you for watching and listening wherever you're at, whether that is here in the United States or in 54 additional countries, 618 different cities across the world. It's because of you. We're really we're reaching a lot of people. Kind of think about it as a space shuttle goes up in the space and then sees the expanse of the world, and uh, we're touching a lot of people in a lot of different places in the world that we never would have thought of from day one. We had obviously the goals internally and what we wanted to do and continue to do, but now we're actually have for some time been seeing that. And so thank you for watching, listening, and if you can give this episode a thumbs up, if you can follow, like, share, all those things are free. We would really appreciate that. We're going to pick up this episode, which is a uh, follow through part two of an episode where we spoke to David Solomon about mental health, trauma, uh, how he is having actually really, I mean, physical uh, symptoms of stress and anxiety, and that those are real things that can happen. That stress can really manifest itself in a lot of different ways, which uh, even boggles my mind. I've had plenty over the years. So David's going to pick up our conversation where he left off on the first part, to really close up where he's at today. How again, things events that happened years ago can get brought up in an instant, whether somebody knows it or not. And in fact, in this case, if somebody brought up the something, a name, did know that and did know that it was a very, 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 very pain point uh, for him, and uh, that's just really unacceptable. But we'll let David pick it up from here. You got it, David.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I forgave my trafficker when I was facing that prison sentence, and I was just dying physically. I couldn't keep food down. Uh, he accompanied me to to Mr. Davis's event with the police, which we have shared actually the police report number. Um, I forgave him and I moved on. But the harassment did not end. Brian did not move on. And that was a problem. So it was very traumatic shaking his hand. Um, or every time I hear his voice, I just freeze. I think one thing that's been really confusing, not a lot of people want to um, address. It's called Stockholm Syndrome, in my doctor's words. And Brian manipulated me for so long. And there are times, even now, where I will question if he's truly a bad guy, because I feel like I'm a no one. Part of that is him stepping on me as a person, the bullying, the making you feel small, uh, enslaving you to write books. Just this goes on. It's really hard to handle that. So today, as I talk to you, I hold my jaw on one side. Um, my jaw is paralyzed on my right side. My entire face is red on my right side um because I chose to bury those emotions, and that was wrong. But I wanted to do it my way and not God's way. You know, when when Brian Davis did a video on me for the whole world to see, I got a phone call that said, "Go take your life," and there was a moment where I almost did, because he mocked my mom, he mocked me as a survivor, as a person, knowing all the trauma I had faced. I was a man that I looked up to, admired, um, and I had no dad, and so um, it wasn't my mom's fault, but you know, he would private message me as a kid and and be that father figure. I think my mom blamed herself for that because she trusted him. So my mom carried that to her grave. And And I blamed her for a time after I was trafficked because I was mocked. It was brutal. There was, I private messaged Brian in 2019 because of all the harassment that he had done. I decided to respond. All I said was, I heard your wife was getting worse and I'm praying for her. Bye. Susie Davis never did me wrong. In fact, I owe her a debt because if it wasn't for one of her words in person when I met her, had the honor and privilege, I probably would have taken my life that day. And Brian can take credit for that moment, but he wasn't there. He was somewhere else. She really was a good person. Still is. I hope. I remember our conversation like it was yesterday. I remember Mr. Davis talking to us kids and asking ideas and wanting us kids to write his books. We were just those fangirls that were thrilled that a famous author was taking our ideas. How did we know? That's labor trafficking, folks. But hey, we were stupid, weren't we? We were pathetic in people's eyes that called me that yesterday. We were pathetic. That is the word that was used. We were minors, you know, homeschooled or not, that were in rural areas. I mean, there's a girl I know who lives next to a barn on a farm, and she wrote for him. And, like she was thrilled. I was thrilled. We still talk to each other. It's amazing. People like on Realm Makers say, "Oh, David Solomon never was here. I don't know David Solomon." Yes, you do. I have messages from you. You just don't want to remember. You want to forget. People joke around like the trauma I've endured is nothing, and it is. Oh, if only you knew. Every time I've sat down to write, I feel guilty. That's the real reason I reached out to Scott Miner. And I know, Scott, you're going to be listening to this. I don't care. I respect that you're listening to this. Maybe you'll learn one thing about me because I know everything about you. You know, I never meant to do you wrong. I came to you as an honest person because harassment had gotten to a dangerous point with Brian Davis. And that is the truth. Brian had reached out to my wife's parents, Brian had reached out to other people I know on my side, my stepfather. Brian had reached out to everybody trying to find out where we were. And all I said to you was, I'm concerned because not only is me as a victim of this man, but there are other kids that are getting messaged by this man on your platform who are minors. And if he is messaging them and he is saying that he did it about porn and cutting 15 years ago, and he talked to me about masturbation in private messages. And I was 13 years old at the time when I learned what that word meant, not because my mom taught me, but because Brian Davis private messaged me and my best friend and taught us what that word meant. And that is why I messaged Scott and said, I prayed about this. There is an evil on Realm, and there are good people. And I did tell parents, Scott, but it's twisted. The parents from Realm came to me because they knew me from Holy Worlds. And they knew that I was there to do business. They knew that I was there to clean house. Because the reason I joined Realm, I didn't want to join Realm. God told me to join Realm. And he said that there was going to be a division, and you would have to find the evil in that division and unite his people. I didn't want to do it. I ran from it. The more I ran, the more God kept putting realm and realm and realm and realm and realm in my face. Suddenly, there was a writer that I had not contacted since being trafficked that told me about realm and said, look, I don't want to be a part of the drama. I know what happened to you. I'm going to stay out of it. I'm not going to put my name out there. They know who I am. But you know what? You deserve to know answers. And God has told me that you need to join. And it's not going to end well for you at Realm. But God is going to bring a journey for you, and you are going to learn. And this is God's will. This was a pastor that said that, who is on Realm, by the way, but chose not to uh, be at Realm, which means he attends conferences. He's a guest. He's a great person. So I joined. The more I learned about the corruption, the more I partnered with law enforcement to go undercover. I had messaged, 1,000 people on Realm because I'm doing a project that Scott knows about. I wasn't telling people about Brian. I shut my mouth. I told a few people that I trusted because it was eating me alive, health wise. Because I messaged them every day and they became family. It is true that I told Sophia Hansen, who's a famous author, and the reason is she touched my heart with her story because that is about human trafficking and it touched me and it gave me strength and it gave me hope in a dark place. And she sent stickers to my son and that made him smile. So if I told the only person who was Christian about my hurting and to pray for me, I'm not going to apologize. I'm only sorry that Sophia joined your hate group and bullied me. I wish no harm on Scott Miner, but I did call his phone when I got a phone call that I may drop that said that he was going to take my son and that he traffics children. That is the moment when I called Scott Miner and threatened him that if he harmed a hair on my son, then God have mercy on him. He will be a dead man. And maybe not in those kind words. I know he made a police report on that, and I'm fine with it. Bring it to court. Let's go to court right now. I'm not afraid anymore. I was yesterday. I was terrified yesterday to have this conversation on here, but I can't now. I can't. It's eating my health alive, and it's not worth it. As I talk to you, the paralyzation gets worse right here on my face, the paralysis, uh,
Mm.
because I'm facing this and my body's shaking and trembling, and I feel the fever. And that, unfortunately, is a part of healing. You know, I want to pause for a minute. Justin Bieber was trafficked by Pete Diddy. I want you guys to pause this, type in Justin Bieber downfall on Google News, and watch the video that he just uploaded today. And then you tell me that him and I are not in the same predicament. It's funny. He had face paralysis. Isn't that funny? Everybody that knows Justin Bieber knows that he suffered a face paralysis incident. And now he's on the downfall. He's ready to go down to drugs. He's doesn't care about life. And who can blame him? So it's not my place. But I got the honor of meeting Justin in Medford, Oregon. And we do maintain a relationship, a friendship as a survivor. And that is a very real thing. And that isn't me saying I know Justin Bieber and I'm going to flaunt it. That is me saying to you guys, he ain't the only one I know that is a millionaire, that is a survivor. There's a reason why people reached out to me or my mom. Don't know what that reason is. Amen. But
Mm.
I look at people that are being named right now that are survivors. Lindsay Lohan is another one. Miley Cyrus. There are people that I've had the honor to meet. I want to give a shout out to my friend Toby Maguire, who played Spider-Man. He went to my church. He never got caught in this. There's a reason he left Hollywood. Do your homework, Scott. I don't apologize for the chaos I've caused exposing realm makers, because that's what my mom would do if she were here. Because she saw her son suffer. And boy, did I. Boy, did I suffer. There's another member on Realm Makers who is a famous author. when I was in the hospital on my birthday, I had just woken up from the coma, and she had surprised me with the author. She's going to, video chat me, and I had no friends. This was right after the trafficking, 6 months after. Anyway, he never did. So I never had anyone visit me. When I had to learn how to walk again and read again and write again, which was a process of rehab, other than a nurse or doctor, there was no one. That was that was really hard. Every time I hear the word organ now, just like right now, my face lights up red because it goes back to those horrible memories. I don't ever want to go back there. That's that's where my head goes, but that's not where my heart is, because the Christian part of me, for some stupid reason, still thinks that I can reach the bad people in Oregon. My mom, if she were here, would say to Scott Miner, "You owe my son an apology, not for the threat, no, not for that, not for kicking me off, no, for how you treated a survivor who came forward with the most traumatic experience of his life. And you'd owe his wife and his son." And Scott, in his defense, which he has none, has not even reached out. He's kept in the dark. He's done things in the shadows. He wouldn't have a one on one interview if I asked him. He wouldn't talk because that's how the dark works. They do things in the shadows. Scott claimed and mocked that you have to dig deep until you can't dig no more. Well, I've done that. I went undercover on your app and I dug. It's funny, I wasn't undercover at first. I was only after I talked to you the first time about the harassment. I was approached by Ellie and they gave me clearance to tear apart your app and find out who was a trafficker because of how you responded. So you weren't the only one running an investigation. You ran one on me, I ran one on you back. It's still going, by the way. So he talked to another writer of mine that day too and kicked them off as well, which was so stupid because they weren't even connected. It
mm,
was just the fact that they were working with me and they just kicked them off. That was his worst mistake. Because they do have power to do something and you kick somebody off. So yeah, there was a heck of a lot of people that left Realm once they learned that I was kicked off. I don't want a problem with Realm. If I ever was offered the right to join Realm again, I would, but under one circumstance. I'm not mocked. My family's not mocked. Things are cleaned up. And we accept responsibility for our mistakes. And until that day comes, Scott Miner, I will bring you down. I will bring the house down on you. But I will not destroy Realm. I will make sure that you are removed from its leadership because you have not shown leadership. You've shown stupidity, manipulation, and you want to talk about credibility. I've held back on this way too long. I have Realmies that I talk to every day, and they know what happened. They're still on Realm, but they know what happened. And they are great friends of mine. I love them dearly. Some are I call family. You take advantage of people like that, and they don't know what to do. They're on Realm because of their careers. They don't respect you. You are not respected anymore. And if you are, people don't know the truth of what you've done. That's the problem. We have to heal Realm, no matter what that takes. I don't know what that will take. I'm in the process of doing that, finishing that journey that God put me on, like it or not. Trauma doesn't just come overnight. And goodness knows I've had too much. Just look at what's happening to me now. So, being called Cody is hard because every time you hear that, you see yourself in a cage and you're traumatized all over again. A lesson I'm learning the hard way, as you can tell.
mm,
These are things I never wanted to talk about. But here we are. If I didn't talk about them to the public, this might kill me because holding it in, burying it, that's what's killing Justin Bieber right now because he can't talk. If he shows vulnerability the way I have, he'll be mocked. He won't be looked at the same, and people will just want him dead. People have tried for me. So I'm not here to attack even my trafficker, Brian Allen Davis, who I am not afraid to say his name anymore. The past is the past, and I want to move forward. This is a part of that. Lies have a way of catching up to you. And Brian, if you're listening to this, and I'm sure you will, where were you on January 12th, 2012 at 3:30 p.m.? Because you have mocked me when you say, well, give me a date, give me a time. Where were you on January 12th, 2012, 3:30 p.m.? And then where were you from there till January the 28th at midnight? I'm just curious what your answer would be. It's sad that someone like you, who claims to be a voice for survivors because you're writing, I guess, um, mocks one like me. Um, for my own health, I'm ready to have this out. If Brian wants to have a one-on-one for the world to hear, I'm ready to have this out because my health cannot take this anymore. I I buried it. My mom buried it, and look at what that got her. I can't
And
let my son go through the same hate.
we're gonna have to unfortunately leave it there. We're up against
The
the
time,
time.
the
Yeah,
clock.
yeah,
I'll
uh,
call
th-
it. Go ahead.
yeah. Thanks for joining us. No, it's not easy, uh, and appreciate selecting us to be able to just be a small part and uh, in your journey of on the way back. Uh, so thank you for taking 2 episodes to share this. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'll always try